We got the.
Hey, what's up? What's up? Here we are, Hulks. Sheila the She-Hulk with my friend, the Hulk, and his brother on Codebreaker Real Talk. I'm so excited today because we have so much to talk about. And but before I go off, like I always do, let's bring in Ricardo and Jose. And I would like for you to tell the audience your name, who you are, how we met, or what brings you to the show, any memories that you have about anything, really. Okay? So thank you.
So I'm José Ramirez. I'm the older brother, also known as Hulk, Shamu, Shamu, whatever. I got a lot of names, but I'm recently fitness enthusiast. Ran into She-Hulk, and she actually read my aura and came to me and talked to me, and basically told me a lot of things that actually came into fruition, and we've been friends ever since. And I know that if I have any kind of curiosities or questions of like, um, I guess what you would call like I guess like conspiracy theories or crazy thoughts, I ask her and she kind of clarifies a lot of stuff, or she kind of disproves it or whatever. So I mean, we've talked a lot of stuff, like crazy stuff, and like I said, I've been watching your YouTubes and I've been checking them out. I know the last one you did, I really didn't get to finish it because my YouTube wouldn't let me watch it all.
And wait, so you were saying, Jose, that you couldn't even watch the video, huh? Maybe 20 minutes of it, and then it was like,
I got into it like maybe 20 minutes in, they wouldn't let me finish it. I actually ended up finishing it today. So I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then like I said, your friend Chad said that he experienced like a past life of where he was maybe like a female super soldier, or then he seen like he was a male super soldier. And then I was like, you know what? Like I feel like I was in past wars and stuff like that. And like I told you, I find peace in the chaos. Like for me, when it's chaotic, I'm calm and collective, and I see myself like I could have been in that program, but I don't have like real memories or recollections of that, but I feel like I did something back in the past that it meant something to me. And I mean that those are my experiences. I don't know, I can't speak for him. He's probably differently. Um, this is my little brother. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, I am Ricardo. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I go by many names: Ricky Bobby, Rick James, Slick Rick, Rick Ross. For this podcast, you can call me Baby Hulk if you like. I'm his little brother, baby brother, if you like. That's fine. I'm just a curious person, a content creator. Like I make videos, I make music, I make uh beatbox, I can record music, I can all kind we done shows. And just out of curiosity, I just want to figure out like what's going on, because I know that everyone's experience, even though we're on the same place, they're experiencing world differently. So I'm just a curious person. I want to figure out one thing that led me to everything that you're saying: super soldiers, secret governments, secret space programs, the secret menu at In-N-Out Burger, like all this stuff, right? So what I want to I used to look up stuff at like Corey Good, Gaia, Disclosure Project, Stephen Greer, just going down the rabbit hole, because just finding more information about just what we're experiencing is what I want to like absorb.
thanks, guys. So like I said, I didn't ever get like I had as a child, I was always messed with. So, the ghost in my under the bed. My grandma could see beings in her closet, so she would always ask me close the closet for her. I would see the beings. I would see beings in the trees because there are beings. We'll call them. Most of them are vampiric. Some are good, some are bad, but they can cloak themselves using organic things. So if you want to cloak yourself as a car, usually not a good idea. You could do it as a tree, something organic, right? Um, Wind, water, fire, snow, anything, like I said, that's biological organic. So that's how I was tortured a lot, just because I saw those things. And I was put in Head Start, and I have memories of them taking us, as children. I was 3 years old. We had to make a little like a boat to float in the water. My father helped me with that one. They would take us away, in elementary and stuff like that, ESL, they would always have me in ESL, English as a second language, because just because I was born in Nogales, Arizona, I mean Sonora, a year after we were taken to Nogales, Arizona, and then when I was 8, like I said, I was taken here to Tucson by my dad. He immigrated us. And then they started, ever since I was a kid, even before I got here to Tucson. I'm telling you this because maybe you'll get some memories. They would always take my blood. They would always want blood tests. They would mess with my teeth. I know that I did not have any cavities. Oh, but 1 year you have 7 cavities and we have to fill them. And I'm like, what the hell? These big old needles and stuff. And they always had to put extra doses because I was I'm a very, how do they say, high tolerant for pain. Maybe it's the DNA, maybe it's the way I was brought up. No llores, te pegan a la chingada, they whip your ass and they're like, pero no llores. I'm gonna kick your ass right now, little kid, your mom and dad, pero no llores, don't cry. You have pain, well, too bad, don't cry. We'll take you to the doctor when we can. And I didn't have the insurance. My parents didn't have insurance. We were very poor. So my mom would always be fregado. I would get pneumonia or, something wrong with my bronchioles. Boom, there goes the penicillin shot, on my butt. And for any reason, a pill for this, a pill for that. And then finally, when she did take me to the doctor here, it was like allergy pills, this pill, that pill for that, breathing treatments. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I would still have a lot of dreams, bad dreams that I was being chased, especially by these beings that were like half human, half something else, and their face falling off, all bloody and shit. And I'm like, who are these? Some of them were cloaked, like in a black cloak. Some of them were human, some of them were not. So I was always being chased. Later on in life, when I went through what I went through, you guys already know. Later on in 2017, that's when I said, if there's something out there that really does love me, that is not like the gods of here, but something that is real, that it's worth living for, other than my children, obviously, because all that had happened already with the gunshot thing that I described 2 days ago or so. I just knelt in my room and this light came out, and then that's when there was like it looked like a flying star, a shooting star that came, and it went, it was a light, and then boom, like you can hear the noise, and at the same time my light went out from my chest, and I'm like, what the hell? And that's when I told you guys that at that time I was already divorced, living with a friend from high school, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing, Veronica? You're like trying to open portals, and I'm like, what the hell is that, And we went outside. And that's the neighbors to the left of where we lived. They're like, did you guys hear that? And we're like, yeah. And then my roommate's husband came out and other neighbors, and there was nothing on the ground, no hole, no nothing. And for years, I didn't know what that was. As soon as that happened, I started getting memories of me being in space, knowing Max Spears. I started listening to Max Spears's content, and also Michael, what's his name? Michael Prince. He goes by another name also. And I started getting these memories and dreams. And it's like, what's going on? That's when, then later the Maitreya came to me, that guy with the turban hat and the white clothing with his hands, with holes in his hands, and just going like that to me. And first I thought it was like, is this Jesus, but it wasn't. It was one of the masters, Maitreya. Then Paul Master came to me, then another female. So then I had to ask for help. I'm like, meaning help, like, well, if there's somebody out there in space that knows me, because my friend would say, oh, well, maybe your husband is up in space. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because like I said, I had already been divorced, and so I asked someone that night, if you're out there, please come see me. And warning, I shouldn't have done that, but so I go to sleep and I wake up, and there's this being on the floor, and then he's like static staticky, but then he like looks like a super soldier, and then, you know, he makes love to me, and I'm like, oh shit, you know, bad idea, because you don't want these people to come rape you or have or make love to you. You know what I'm saying? And make believe that there's someone out there, because they're tricksters. Some of them are tricksters. So I don't think I've ever talked about that one before, but I started seeing ships up in the sky. My friend, my roommate, she would tell me, yeah, that's Solar Warden, or yeah, that's, you know, the medical team, or yeah, that's, you know, the TR3Bs. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know, but I would see them and they were cloaked. But if you take, she taught me to take 3 pictures with flash and 3 pictures with no flash. First with no flash, then 3 pictures with flash. And she outlined, see this here, that's the outline of a ship. And you got to look at the negative space, and you got to look at this. And it's like, whoa. And I started like seeing all this stuff, you know, and my kids are like, Mom, you crazy? You know, stop listening to those people. And just a lot of stuff happened. When I was in my room at night, I couldn't sleep. It's hard to sleep because I see a lot of things. So, but the first 2 months, I slept with my light on in my room because I saw those beings up in the air in space. They would parachute down with the little they're small like egg-shaped ships, and they would be parachuting down. And I'm like, hey, so and so, because I don't want to say her name. Do you see that? And she's like, what the fuck? Like, I would take pictures. I'm like, don't you see that? You know, sometimes she was like, no, and sometimes yes. And I'm like, am I the only one? So then when that awakening happened, when the light came out, I saw and I took some pictures, and I saw these Alpha Draconis. Some of them were black and some of them were white. Okay. They look like dragons, but in uniform, but some didn't have a uniform. They're really, some of them are really ugly. But they were like, it was a command center. It was like kind of like Star Trek, you know, and they were like the main dude, main captain was like standing up, and then he had all his squad in the front, and they were looking at me, and I'm like, I just waved like, who the fuck are you guys? And that night that I saw that shit, I was like, I can't sleep because I could hear them in the hallway, and I'm like, oh, am I going crazy? What's going on? You know, they're gonna come attack me or what? You know. Later on, when I had more experiences, I did talk to the Alpha Draconis, the main captain, and I said, when I learned that I had to break contracts, I said, I don't want to have contract anymore with you, because I know he was the one that abducted me in the beginning. Well, he was the beginning, and then there was another. So anyway, one of the abductions, he was the main character. And I haven't talked about this. Well, yeah, I have. And then I said, you know what? I called him to me, and I said, I let you go. And I gave him a hug, and it's like, I can't deal with you anymore. Like, I don't want you to be my handler anymore. So, and this I learned how to do because I've had so many people contact me, but that wanted to be handlers through the CIA, through the, there's this one guy that showed me how to see more, and he was from Utah. He was living under his sister's basement, and he would go by Sean Snow, and he was a Mormon. And he was teaching me all this stuff about how really to communicate with them, to see them. And of course, all these guys wanted to marry me, and they would say, oh yeah, I'm going to go visit you. And some would, and I'm like, no, I don't want to marry you. Like, I always said no, because I was married for almost 20 years. And then I'm like, here's your ring back. I don't want your rancho. I don't want your money. I just felt that I don't want to be controlled anymore, because I knew that I had to find out who I was, you know. So that's just a little bit, but
No. That's a lot to unpack. That is a lot.
As a reptilian, do you think you were like an alien host mother? Like, because I know that happens to a lot of women, that they have interactions with reptilians, and they have interaction with, well, I guess you'd say aliens, but they don't, they know they had some kind of physical contact, but they never get pregnant or anything because their eggs get taken from them. Do you feel that that's what you were chosen for, that maybe?
yeah, later on I found out because I did have a ghost pregnancy. I talked about this in the other video with Jake Waters and Susan Long. where I was in the military here in the US Army, and my fiance was in the military as well. We were together for 2.5 years, and I had the ring and everything. We were gonna get married. I had the invitations, you know, we're gonna do this, do that. And he took me to, we went to Fort Huachuca, and then he had some friends down there. So we stayed at a place, it was like a ranch, like in El Paso, because it's like close to El Paso, Texas. And at that time, I was already 2.5 months to 3 months. Well, when we came back, it was already like 3 months that I hadn't menstruated. So he was like, well, are you gonna keep it? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm gonna keep it. You know, I don't want to like not keep it, you know, I love you. And then he started acting weird. He took me to Planned Parenthood, and finally it was negative. So 3 months, me not having a pregnancy, it would show that I was pregnant, but then it was not pregnant. So I'm thinking, because I have memories of a little girl with red hair and freckles, long red hair, I was part of that program, and I only see her in the astral. Um, I feel that I have more children than I have here. And it's really hard to say because I'm always saving children and I'm always taking care of them too. And they took in 2012. So anyway, we broke up. He didn't want to get married after that. We went back to Planned Parenthood before we broke up. I didn't know he was going to break up with me. I was living alone. I had my own place at 17 and a half. One of my uncles signed for me to have a place. Because I had just come back from California. I experienced the Rodney King beatings. You know, I saw the looting. I went every morning. We would go. I had friends that had weapons from Colombia, so I was packed. You know, they were packed. And during the day, everything was on fire, and people were like looting at night. You should have seen the chaos. So I'm used to that. I was like, damn, like we had to be home by 10, curfew. So then I lived there for a year. There was earthquakes that happened during that time. Then I came back. But real quick, going back, going back to Planned Parenthood, he and I went to a store to buy a bunch of baby clothes to give Planned Parenthood to thank them because I wasn't pregnant. So that's when I realized that he really was not serious about me. Like this guy, you know, so instead of him breaking up with me, he brought his father. That's when I lived at San Mateo Apartments. I don't know if you guys know where that is. And I remember, and I had to give back the ring. He asked me for my ring back. So that's the guy that I always say that we were going to be either cops or we were going to be doctors, and he ended up being a doctor, and I ended up being a cop later. But that was that experience. And
One thing I wanted to go after, I mean, what you said right now is that's a lot, you know, that you went through. But also one thing that you were telling me in your explanation was when you ran into Paul and like an ascended master, like when you got there, I mean, you can look back at now, but when you look in the moment, you'll be in the moment. I'm pretty sure you didn't know how to react. What was that experience like? Was there a conversation? Was there like, because I'm sure you're in the moment, you're just like, is this real? What the heck is happening? You know, what was that like for you?
okay, I'll go into that, but real quick before I forget, this is what I want to say. So in 2012, they said that I had endometriosis. I've had cancer the first time in 95. And so they did a leap, which was burn the cervix so that I could have my children when I was married. I have two kids here. That happened. It bleeds over. Everything in what you do in space or, you know, inner earth, it bleeds through. And in 2012, they took my cervix and my uterus. And I cried. And it's like, and later on, I was dating someone that maybe we dated for 3 months, and he says, Veronica, and I was on my bike trail when he called me because I was riding my bike, and he called me. He's like, V, I gotta tell you something. I'm like, what? He goes, I saw that these aliens were around you. You were in a slab, and these aliens were around you, taking your uterus and your cervix. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he says that I was screaming, that they didn't care. And I'm like, damn. So they took my things to make they can clone me or they can make other children from me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, okay, so going to Paul, well, the Maitreya, that was just that. I had gone to sleep, and as I wake up, right, to start my day, I wake up, and as I'm waking up, opening my eyes, I see that there's a cave, there's a light in the back, like a little candle in the background. There's a cave, and then there's a pyramid. And then this guy comes out, and he comes out standing, and he's like, with holes in his hands and the turban and the whole white thing, and the beard, and he's dark, and I'm like, what? Because I said I think I'm an ascended master. I kept telling myself I want to be an ascended master, and they were showing me, they were taking me with them. Now I know to teach me things, And the other one was a few months after that, I was dreaming that I was in everything is real when you're dreaming, especially when you know that it's real, that you've been there. That's no bullshit. You can astrally, you can go to sleep here and go somewhere else like that. Like as soon as you go to sleep, well, or REM, theta, I think they call it. So anyway, that night I was worried because my son, I was like, how am I gonna pay for his college? And that night we were in a grocery store, and Paul, comes to me, and he's like one of the produce managers. He's wearing a blue shirt and he's wearing a black apron. And my son, and I have a cart and everything, people around me, and we were in the produce section, and I needed to go get eggs. So my son went to go get eggs and he dropped them. And Paul comes to me, he says, don't worry, he'll be fine, and I'll pick this up. So not even a month later, he gets free school. He gets free schooling at the U of A. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have to worry. Right? Woo-hoo. It's just,
Free is like my favorite word, you know what I mean? So like, that's good. That's great news.
Say again?
Free is like my favorite word. So like, that's great news. That's great news.
Heck yeah, free is good.
That's good.
I'm not gonna go there. I like these bitches that are fans only and they want some money. No, I'm just kidding. Fans only ain't free, bro. Just kidding.
I told my brother a while back ago that I had a time relapse one time where I literally I lost days. I used to date a girl. She used to live out in Marana, like 10 minutes away from the Marana exit. And we went out. Yes, we were out partying, drinking, but we went to sleep on Thursday and we didn't wake up until Sunday. And missed calls, just crazy, just a big relapse of time. And the thing that legitimizes the story is that legitimizes the story. Sorry, my list was coming up. Was that her dad came home, saw her car in the front yard, came inside, showered, ate, looked for us, and then he said he didn't see us. That he called her name and then nothing. And then Sunday we come back and I wake up like normal and everything's fine. And I'm like, what happened? Like, where did this time go? What did we do? Started noticing, like scratches and stuff. And I noticed my leg was feeling weird. My leg felt really weird. And I looked and I have like a pebble in my leg. And I'm wondering what it is. So it starts to itch and I'm starting to scratch it and I'm like, what is this? What is this?
It's an implant, right?
What?
It's an implant.
Yeah, it was a black implant, so smooth.
What did it look like? Like
black, smooth, super tiny.
There.
Super tiny.
There you go.
But I told a friend, like, hey, dude, like, I think I got an implant on me. Yeah, it looked like this. This is a black stone, you see it? But it's crystal, but this was super shiny, super like small. And
it's
I remember I told my friend, I think I got abducted. He said, what do you mean? He's like, I have a relapse of time. I don't know what happened. And 2 days are gone. I feel weird. I feel like, this I don't feel the same. So what he goes, he said, come to me. So I go to him and I cut it out. I have the scar. I mean, I can't lift my leg that high, but I have the scar right here on my leg. It's right here. It's literally like my brother can show you, it's a black circle, like it's burned in there now. But he pulls it out, we pull it out, and he runs a magnet detector on it. And there's a signal coming out of it. And he goes, yeah, dude, you got abducted. And I've never really,
Can you help me take some implants out on my knee and my left shoulder, especially because I don't want them in here no more.
well, it wasn't like I did it on purpose. I was just like, he told me to take it out because he wanted to know what it was. And because he was like, so he was the guy that I knew that he already knew about the conspiracies. He was telling me all this stuff, and I never believed it because, obviously, like I was brainwashed at the moment. But when I saw it for myself, I'm like, this shit really happens. And like my brother says, like my experience are different from his, your experience is different from hers. And like I said, like I feel like I've done stuff because I feel that same exact thing. Like I'm a protector. Like if someone's in trouble, I want to be there, the first one to be like I'm responsive. Like okay, cool. Like I feel that soldier kind of, and I'm not that type of guy like before. And being like a recovering alcoholic and drug addict, like I realized I did that for years because I was trying to drain out those traits in me.
And I could vouch for that because now that we're looking at it from this aspect, it's like maybe that's the reason why when he was growing up, he was like a wild child. He was drugs, friends. I think all that could have been for distraction, so that he doesn't have to face those memories by himself. Like how could you face it with someone that doesn't know, can't understand what you went through? You know?
I can never explain it. Like I have, like I would blame probably the drugs and the alcohol for relapse of memory because I don't remember things. But when I do remember some stuff, like I remember one time an incident that him and my mother went to Phoenix, and this was recently, and I talked about it on a podcast of mine where I saw a black figure in my house, but I was alone by myself. And my mom's house is a 4-bedroom house. There's a long hallway, the kitchen, living room, and I remember I used to live in the last room, and I remember hearing noises. So I look out the hallway and the lights are off, and I see a black shadow run to the kitchen. And I mean, it was and I'm like, I'm the only one here. There's no TVs, there's no lights on. I'm by myself, and I don't think I was dreaming. I was wide awake. So I turned the lights on and walked to the kitchen. And when I walked to the kitchen, there's nothing. But I turn around, look towards my room, and from my mother's door, which is closed, something runs to my room. And I'm like, okay, who's here? Like, who's here? So I go, I'm walking outside, I'm everything. And then I remember I go to sleep that night. And I had a dream, a black figure jumped into my window, red eyes, and it's holding me down and it's beating me, hitting me. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, let me fight, let me fight, let me go, let me fight. And I remember the next day I woke up and I had a bruise on my face. And I thought like, I don't think I hit the wall. I don't think I did anything. And I remember my mom and him came home and they're like, what happened? Did you get into a fight? And I was like, no. My mom was like, how did you get that bruise? And I said, I don't know. And then comes back even further. My mom had a Jesus piece in her room. And I remember I'm sitting in her bed and I'm looking at this Jesus piece and it's speaking to me. Come here, come here. It's okay, come here. And my mom sees me in a trance and she's looking at me and she's like, what's wrong? And I go, the picture's calling me. And she's like, what do you mean? And I remember just a river of fear. Like the picture of Jesus is calling me. I don't know why. And she's like, it's just a picture. But when she took it down, it stopped. And then she's like, you know what? Like, just stay here and stay with me tonight. And I slept with my mom. And then in the morning, she did the huevo and everything, kind of like trying to do it. And the egg turned black. And then that's when she first told me that like our ancestors were like brujas and they did witchcraft and all that stuff. And we had a curse on us and everything, but it wasn't until one of our ancestors kind of took it to a part to break the contract that's when everything kind of went away. So from that, I've learned like, okay, maybe we do have that in us because my sister has dreams and they come to fruition. She's like dreamt of pregnancies and all this stuff and they've become true. And even through you, like with my divorce, I was like, hey, like I'm not feeling really well. My energy's off. Can you give me a contract a breaking spell? And you were like, yeah, I got you. You sent me one right away. And then I forgot, I didn't do it. I forgot to do it. But then I asked you for a second time. And then you're like, no, I'll send it to you. So you send it to me. That one I printed out. I wrote the names. I actually read it. I disown this. I don't bind this contract, whatever, witchcraft. And I said it word for word by myself. And I was outside. You said, go get some sage and burn some sage. And I was like, all right, cool. And I did exactly what you told me. And then I burned the paper. And since then, it's just been like a positivity, good aura around me. And I was like, dude, that's crazy because I didn't believe in it. Like, it's not like, now that I see, like, there's other outside sources you could use, to better your life. Like he spoke to me about manifesting, numerology, stuff that I've never really took into account before. And now that I have, it's like my life has kind of opened. Like you say, the matrix is out here. The matrix is real and we can manifest all kinds of stuff. We just don't know how. And I'm learning, I'm trying to tap into it to change my perspective of life.
And then speaking of the brujeria, which is witchcraft in English, for those that don't know, for that, I always believed like the witchcraft was deemed about like put upon like on people because when the Europeans came over to this side and they see we heal stuff with herbs and like drinks and teas and natural remedies, they took that as witchcraft. They're like, how did you heal them? People usually die to this disease or just a common flu, but you healed them. That's witchcraft. But when the Europeans took over the Americas, they deemed it as witchcraft. So it has that negative connotation, but it also was misunderstood. So I think that's the way I understand it when they first told me, because they're like, it's bad. And I was like, I think it's just not understood. And then having an open mind to research it, that's when you get these ideas.
Yeah. Like when I tatted, because I've always wanted tattoos since I was a kid. And after my divorce, shit, I got my tattoos, right? I got my 2 sleeves. I'm almost done with this one. I was like, fuck yeah. So the first thing that I got was muerte, but it's a skull. I'll show you guys later, but it's a skull and it's a hand on the skull going like that to it, right? And then there's smoke through it. But when I got it, the guy that was married to my roommate, Gary, he's like, oh no, that's Santa Muerte. No. And so he drew an angel. And he's like, this is you. And he drew me with the stake going like this, I have my el sword, pues el pinche machete. So I'm like this, and then he writes V on there. And then he's like, tattoo that on you for protection. I'm like, oh my gosh. And back then I was like, okay, because I didn't know all this stuff. So now I have this death coming for me and this angel, meaning I resurrected, because I did die for 3 days. And now one of my family members believes me because she had a near-death experience just the other day. She's like, oh my gosh, I believe you now, And she took some shrooms, and what happens is that she actually felt herself die in the grave. And she was just ascending, and she's like, oh my gosh, we never die. We never die. We never die. We can, and then when she came back, she's like, we can create our future. I'm like, I told you. Because my mother always says, I know, el destino, destiny. I'm like, nah, mom, I make my own destiny. I don't believe in destiny. I make my own future. I make my own, I'm creator. You guys are creators. Everyone's creator, but they're being brainwashed every Wednesday and Sunday and sometimes every day, unfortunately. But yeah, we all have the ability to heal ourselves and help others heal. As far as I wanted to tell you that a few years ago, a person contacted me. She was my friend, and she's like, hey, this is going on with my boyfriend. They had adopted a kid together. They had been in the church, but then the guy got out and she was still going. And I went to her house and I said, there's something in your vent. I know there's something in there. And this was after I cleansed her son, and I cleansed her house. And I said, let me open up that vent. I just know that I feel something's in there. Sure as shit, there was aluminum foil and had meth in there. oh my gosh, Vero, how did you know? I'm like, I just knew. And I said, and if you don't leave this guy, because you said you're gonna leave him, right? She's like, yeah, here's the money. Go, please go get me a doorknob and a chapa pues to change. So I changed the 2 doorknobs and the deadbolt for her. It was just her and her son. And then a month later, she goes back to the guy, beats her up. She ends up in the emergency room with so many bruises, like all over her. And I said, I told you, I warned you. So don't come to me unless you are going to do what I tell you. It's not because of vanity, it's not because of ego, it's just I know things that I'm here to protect you guys. You know, you come to me and it's like, and then you don't do it, then just recently, one of my, I thought she was a close friend, but she was having problems with her husband. The husband had, you know, gotten another girl pregnant, and he would tell her that that girl in Mexico had a un amarre de amor, and blah blah blah, and that she does santeria and witchcraft and all that. And so then I said, okay, let's test this out, dije yo. So I said, this is what you need to do, blah blah blah, and he needs to break contract with her, and blah blah blah, and these are the candles that you get. This is the ritual. And then the guy didn't want to break contract with the other girl. And I said, that's because he wants the cake and eat it too. Le dije, I can't help you with the subject anymore. You guys did not do what I told you. I can't help you because it seemed she had already gone to another person that could help with breaking spells and you know, and also helping put protection spells on them and the family. And she didn't listen. So I said, and this had been going on now for 6 months. And I'm like, this girl's not going to change. She just wants him. And she had 4 or 5 kids with him already, the one that was married to him, and he didn't want to break contract. Well, that tells you everything, doesn't it? So just things like that. Like I'm very particular who I help, because there has to be an exchange too of energy. You can't just do things for free. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll
Yeah.
keep coming back. They'll
I
be
mean,
like,
when you contacted me, you came up to me and you were like, hey, like, what's up? I like your shirt. And, you know, you start the conversation and you're like, I like your energy. Yeah, my tattoos, I have, you know, the green and the red Hulk. You know, that's my duality. You know, if you understand the red and the green Hulk, you understand the struggles that they both go through. But I mean, I could explain that, but I don't want to get into that because that's a long explanation of all the nerd stuff. But you came up to me and you were like, your aura is really strong, and you're telling me all this, and I'm looking at you like, what is she trying to do? And then like I was like, I don't know, like what's going on. And then, you know, the next time I saw you, I'm like, I'm seeing you and you're lifting. And I'm like, she's lifting heavier than most of the guys in here. This is crazy. And then you were like, oh, I see you're lifting too. Oh, you're doing some weight. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm doing strongman. And I was, you know, at that time I was lifting some heavy weight. But the thing, like I saw that it was like, man, like she's talking to me and she's telling me like, oh, like right now, the girl you got, it's good for you right now, but you're like, hey, but watch out with her. Like, be careful, watch out what you know, what's going to happen. And then you told me like, oh, you know, like, right now you're happy. And then you told me like, but it's going to like not end. You said like, just be careful how it's going to end up. And then I was just like, what does she mean by that? And I didn't understand at first. And then when everything happened, you were like, hey, like, I knew that was going to happen. I just didn't want to tell you, but you know, like, you know, I know you needed to go through that. And then like, when you went through your whole cancer thing, I was like, you know what, like right now, she needs that motivation. She needs that, like, hey man, like, how are you doing? Like, how's it going? Hey man, you got this, keep going. And I was like, you know what, like how they say, me dio apoyo, le voy a dar apoyo a ella. Like, you know what I mean? Like blood in, blood out comes in. Me das esquina, te doy esquina. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, man, you're like, hey, what's up? What's up, Hulk? What's up, brother? What's going on? Hey, I see you losing weight. I see you do. And I'm like, dude, like she motivates you. Like, that's cool. And I do the same thing. Like, oh, hey, like keep going. Like, I got you. Like, you know, you're doing good. And then I ask you, hey, how's the whole cancer thinking going? You're like, hey, man, like this is going on, but you know, I'm gonna do this and I'm doing that. And then I told my brother, like, yo, like I gotta introduce you to my friend. Like, I wanted him to meet you because you do a lot of natural healing, herbalistic stuff, and you were telling me about the iodine for the teeth. And I told you, I was like, my brother just sent me something about that yesterday. And we were talking about that. And I was like, that's why I want you to meet my brother. And I was like, that's why I'm gonna bring him onto the podcast. Cause I guess what do you say, fruitarian?
Frugivore, fruitarian is my usual diet. Now that doesn't mean I'm completely raw. I mean, if we go to like, Los Betos, I'm gonna tear up some tacos with you for sure. We're gonna go in, you know what I mean? But for 60 or 70% of my diet weekly consumption is fruits and vegetables.
So when he introduced me to that diet, I dropped down to 230
As well as fasting.
and fasting. I dropped down to 230. My sugars went down, my cholesterol went down, my A1C went down, everything really went down. And right now I'm like 240, 12 pounds in muscle growth, 23% body fat. I'm the most energy I've ever had in my life. Added sea moss, Celtic salt. I want to try Shilajit, but I'm not really sure about that. But other than that, I've just been fasting and eating more fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. So,
Have you tried spirulina and all that?
nah,
Yeah. I had to switch too. As soon as when I moved here, like I told the story, I'm 1 block away from the cancer center, and this is before I was diagnosed with that crap. It was stage 3, and I'm like, I learned that the cancer tumors like sugar, so I cut the sugar. And my mom was listening to this. He was this doctor that they had killed, and he was, gosh, I don't know, he was from Cuba or Mexico or what, but he or Peru, but he was a doctor who spoke, Spanish, and he was talking about how to cure cancer. Well, they ended up killing him. But my mom's like, mija, tienes que comer muchos vegetales, mucho verde, everything green, and she just would come and buy stuff for me, extra stuff. And I'm like, thanks, mom. So even before I went in for my first surgery, because there was total of 3 surgeries and 2 blood transfusions, I became septic, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like my nurse said, get your ass to the hospital. You need to go. So I was at 103 fever, and it was hell. So I had to change my whole diet. And my son is doing keto. You've seen my son lift on those videos that I sent you, right? He's my baby, like my son, my baby Hulk son. And right now he's doing keto. And when I was weighing the 240 back then, oh, it was terrible. I was depressed and all that shit. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm gonna die if I don't, this was back in 2018. And I just hit the gym. I hit the gym 4 times a week. And if I went 3 times a week, and it was always 3 hours, and one of those 3 hours was cardio. And then I started riding my bike 33 miles every Saturday. And now, fíjate, right before, and I was big. You saw me, huh, Hulk? You saw me.
Yeah.
And I was like fucking lifting, and my leg presses, my squat, everything was, fuck, man. I was so proud of myself, because back in the day, and right after I graduated Seletzi, I was 35. It was 2006. I deadlifted 165. I was weighing 165, and then I bench pressed 185, and it was just fucking marvelous. Like I couldn't believe it. So after the divorce, and I was depressed and shit, they even put me in a psych ward. My ex-husband put me in a psych ward. It was horrible. He wanted to take my children away. He took my son away. Finally, he lives with me now. So karma's a bitch. Fuck that. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
Karma's a bitch. Like you people are over here trying to play your kids against each other. Nah, bro, that's not gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. You're gonna answer to higher counsel. So anyway, I'm so grateful that anyway, so now this time around with the cancer and shit, as soon as I had the second surgery, no, when I had the third surgery, the oncologist sent me to another guy, and he's like, oh, well, we're gonna do radiation. I'm like, no, we're not doing radiation. We're not doing chemo. But I did lose half my hair through this time. And the iodine is very important. I just found that out. Yeah, I sent it to you because it turns out that the TSH, the thyroid, is like almost at 8%, and it's supposed to be lower. It's supposed to be like maybe the other thyroid thingy, I don't remember the acronym, that's like at 1.36. But this one, and I have a ball here and I think it's either it's an implant or I don't know. Cause I 20 years ago, I had it taken out. And it was a little thing like this and it was white and it was like a little huevito. Hard, like it was extra calcium. They say I grow extra calcium. I think it's because they took my wisdom teeth out. They put all that shit in there, the mercury and shit. But anyway, let me show you. So right now they have me on levothyroxine, but they gave me 25 micro and I can't take them. I have to break the pill in half and then break that in half. And then I take this. Watch, I'll be right back. Maybe it'll help you. The actual person who sent that video yesterday was Jessica Rubber Starlet. So shout out to Jessica. That video, that guy talking about the bromide in our water and schools.
Yeah, because we've discussed that before, how you said you still drink the tap water. You're like, I just transported into like energy. Everything you eat, you just kind of like you change the frequency of your food
I
to
do,
benefit you.
and yeah, I do. And then this has shungite in there, pieces of shungite. This is water, tap water. And what I do is I put a bunch of shungite in there and I leave it out for 3 nights, 3 days, or you can leave it out 24 hours and then I drink it. Or I drink the tap water, or I drink this stuff here, the alkaline. But to me, it's like, they're trying to say, oh, because I know it has graphene oxide, the tap water and fluoride, but I'm the fucking Hulk. I transmute that shit. Here it is. Thyroid strength. It has zinc, selenium, and I was already taking selenium like when this shit hit me, and guaifenomine. Because I was listening to Dr. Lodi. Richard Di Benedetto told me about that doctor. So selenium, copper, iodine, and L-tyrosine or tyrosine. And
So it has copper in it?
huh?
It has copper in it?
Copper.
So he put me on wearing copper. We have copper
Oh,
bracelets.
good. Yes, I have to
Um,
put mine
and
on.
zinc.
I forgot.
And zinc on
And
this
zinc.
already, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
zinc.
you're on the wrong way.
Oh, so we have the zinc bracelets. I don't know if you can see them, and then the copper bracelets.
Nice. I
Um,
give me a zinc one. I have one copper
um,
bracelet, but
Oh, so I mean,
I
oh,
drink
yes.
nothing but like spring water. If I had to drink water, my thing is coconut water because it's already mineralized and it has vitamins in it and super hydrates you, which I have it. I know we live this life. We don't say
No,
we
no,
actually
I have
do it.
mine in the refrigerator. I was just gonna take it out like in a break.
And for as far as what I have Arrowhead, but I put it in the copper because copper is good for your neural circuitry, the
Your signal?
electricity, and talking like basically transferring signals. So you want copper. Nothing in our food has copper in it, so you definitely want to get. That's how I take my intake, as well as the jewelry.
and
Yeah.
like I said, when I changed my fruit, I went to the doctor last, and he was like, your diabetes is in check. And I go, what does that
Like
mean?
me? Or what?
Like he just said, like, you're doing really good. Your A1 is at 4. Your sugars are at normal levels, and when they spike, it's a normal spike. Like when I eat, because obviously I do eat a lot still, it goes up real quick, but then it comes back down, and it slowly comes back down. And he was amazed because I had the monitor. I don't wear the monitor. I used to have a diabetes monitor on my arm. I don't wear it anymore. And he was like, we want to keep you on some, we want to keep you on the insulin to be safe, but you really don't need it anymore. And the metformin, I would say you still need to take it, but that's optional. And I looked at him and I was like, so what are you telling me is I'm pretty much like I cured myself?
Yeah,
And he just said, I can't validate that, but all I can say is that what you're doing, just keep doing what you're doing.
that's awesome. And you
So
help.
I was like, well, like I said, like, I mean, it's your show and it's a family show. I don't want to take off my shirt. I was kidding. But this is the best. No, this is the best time. This is the best. Like I said, I have high energy. Like I said, 23% body fat, muscle gain. Like I'm gaining pretty fast. And the 2 months that I've been able to go back to the gym, like I said, I've gained 12 pounds naturally. That's,
Yeah.
I'm taking on the Mike Mesner workout method. My diet has been super clean. So I mean, it's a lot of things I've been doing to change my body, but I'm an example of if you have diabetes, you can reverse it.
Exactly.
One of the many case studies, and for me, like this shirt, you probably can't even see it. It used to be, it stretches out a lot. I used to be about that big, and without you having to go to the gym, occasional walk because of your what's it called, lymphatic system has to drain through movement. So that's like your heart and circulation system, circulatory system. It moves through a pump. Your lungs and your heart and stuff like that pumps it out. But with your lymphatic system, it doesn't work the same way. It moves with movement. So you have to like at least go for your 20-minute walk, go to the gym, whatever you want to do. I'm not a gym person because I don't like it. I much rather play basketball because all of a sudden 2 hours later, I'm trying to win a game. And all of a sudden I've been running for 2 hours. Like, dang, you lose track, the distraction. So whatever works for you works for you. Life is, for you to create, of course.
We actually just finished a podcast with my friend Tony. He grows mushrooms, blue oysters, lion's mane, all that. So he actually gave us some lion's mane, and I just made it. I ate it, but I was already taking lion's mane in powder form to help blood circulation, bring down blood pressure, cholesterol, also to reboot my memory because of years of alcoholism and drug addiction. I messed up my brain, and my brother actually gave me a tip to actually focus 20% of my mental on my grounding of my feet.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because
I'm
because I
barefoot right now. I don't like to wear shoes.
No, what he was saying is like when people were like, because his brain function's coming back at rate at a higher rate, and it's rapid. So he's speaking faster than he's trying to speak the way he thinks, and you could think way faster than you physically can
Oh
speak.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's
like he's blending words together. He basically became Cuban or Puerto Rican, whatever.
no, I totally get it. I do because my brain
That's
is
why like the exercise I always go for is like when you like anxious stuff like that, or you're just high speed, to ground yourself, you put 20% of your focus on the sensation on your feet. Like if you're wearing footwear or socks or touching carpet right now, if you want to like just do the gripping thing with your feet and keep 20% of your focus on your feet. And if you're really, really anxious, start putting your focus like maybe 10%, whatever, on your peripherals, vision on your side, and that will ground you. Try it. It works every single time.
that is so awesome. And I'll send you guys meditation that I have on breathing. So it's like you just breathe
Ooh.
in and out, like you just go like you just keep going and you build your aura because 80% of our body is our aura. So you're like and you're like and you can make your aura big. And I can protect my place and I can protect this whole place. And I can send it to you guys. I can send it to my son. I can send it to my mom on the south side for protection. That's how I protect, and through your heart.
Well, one thing I wanted to get into was because for people I always think of people who are listening who like are scared to like talk about stuff like this. One thing that could help them if they don't want to reach out to us for whatever reason, they're still in the think that they're probably going crazy. That phase when you're like, am I crazy?
Yep.
One thing I want to like help them to think about is like, is there like a simple or like one like not simple, but I guess way of breaking contracts that you think that's good to be like, just start off with here. And if you start feeling better, that you're feeling the way you're feeling and you're more than welcome to step forward. But since they won't step forward now, they need that now as opposed to like moving forward part. So if people are trying to baby step it, what would you kind of like suggest?
I would suggest with your dreams, writing down your dreams. And if anytime there's a nightmare or that they're trying to use you sexually, because I've had the Archangel Michael, that is the double of Archangel Michael, actually come into my apartment and try and have sex with me. And he had this yellow thing on his, like a yellow belt and a yellow and black thing on his waist. And so did his helper. And his helper was an ugly fucking gray, ugly short ass gray alien. And so what I do is I tell people, like, as you're waking up to rolling like onto the next dream, or you're gonna go to the bathroom or whatever, say it in your mind, think it in your mind or say it. I break contracts with, this dream or this person that just happened. I do not consent. Excuse me, always be aware of what they're trying to do in the dream. Like if they want to give you something in your dream, don't take it. You don't know what it is. You know what I mean? It's like If they're trying to have you do things that you know you're not supposed to do, like steal, shoplift in your dream, break contract with that. Break contract with the people that you have had divorce, or you have a breakup, or a friend that you thought was your friend, break contract with them. And it's very simple. You can write your own contracts. You can say, I, and then write your name on this date and time, break contract with, in this timeline, as above, so below, and other timelines, any copies, any mirrors in this dimension or any other dimension, I break contract with these people. And then in this moment is very important, as above, so below, or you can say in this moment, abracadabra is I create as I speak. So just, I mean, there's so many things you could do. You can even like light a candle and say, write down the contract and then burn it, or when you tear it up, don't throw it away in your home. Throw it away outside of your home.
I'm glad you said that, because you did tell me, like, get a candle, write your name on it, your daughter's name, everybody you want to put it. And I forgot I did it. I did do that. I forgot. Oh my God. But it's true, like you said, you write out the contract, or like what I did, I just printed it out, wrote the names in there, read it out loud. You told me, burn it, light some sage. Like you could do like a little ritual that makes sense to you, to make that manifest and to come forward in fruition. I just went step by step what you told me to do. And I have it in text. Like you told me, write it out, say it out loud, burn it up, light a candle, write your daughter's name, your name, whoever you want to protect. And I was like, I'm gonna do it the way she said. And then that's how I did it. And everything changed for me. And I had a better outcome of it, because even just getting that mental state of, okay, this is gonna cleanse everything, your whole body, your mental, your spiritual, physical, all accepts it at once. Like, okay, now you're clean.
Yes.
And it's like a life hack, basically. A pretty good life hack. So like, I mean, it works. It works. Yeah, actions work.
You gotta, like I said, energy, right? Your focus goes where your energy goes, where your focus goes. Right now we're exchanging awesome energy, right? We're helping each other. We're helping other people online, and people are gonna come to you guys. You'll see. You guys are healers. We're healers here. You guys, you have a lot of work ahead of you. I'm excited for you. But anyway, action. You can't just, oh man, like, I wish this and this and that would happen, and I wish this would change, man. Like, you can't just be like, you know what I'm saying? You have to put action to it, and you have to believe with your whole heart and your mind. So your mind and your heart have to be in agreement, and then there's action. Whether you say it, whether you have to do something, because with magic, as you know, has to be action. But anyway, going back real quick, now I'm at 180 pounds. Because before I was, lifting and everything, and I was like, but then this thing came up, right? So they had me on morphine for 5 months, and that attacked my central nervous system. So I had to bring that up. It was hell the first 2 weeks of detoxing myself, because the doctors, like paying doctors, like, because I called her and I'm like, hey, I don't need no more morphine, thanks. Oh, well, we'll be here when you need us. And I'm like, thanks. But then she's like, well, how did you do it? The MA said, did you break it down? No, just cold turkey. Like, that's the way to do it. You got to shock your body, and you got to believe in yourself that you're going to get yourself up again. And man, you think that I was feeling really good back then, Hulk? I'm feeling even better now. Like, fuck.
Well, I remember those conversations we had where you're like, I'm going cold turkey on morphine. I'm like, are you serious? And you go, yeah. You go, it makes me feel terrible. I don't feel good. You're like, since I've been off it, I've been able to function. I'm actually moving a little bit here and there. And I was just like, this is crazy. But I think about it as well. Like when I quit drinking, cold turkey. When I quit smoking, cold turkey. Everything I did, cold turkey, because you have to get that mental fortified in order to continue that process and habit. And that's a really good thing to do, because when you fortify your mental, you're making it more concrete, so you follow it better. And that's why I commend you on going cold turkey on morphine, because like I said, as a former addicted pill popper, I know that was the hardest thing I ever had to do, because it was the withdrawals, the body shakes and everything. And I mean, I was bad though. I was really bad. So
yeah, I couldn't even sleep. I would like be like, oh, now I have to move this. Oh, maybe the pillow is there. Oh, maybe if I sleep on my tummy. Oh, maybe if no, it was hell, you guys. I know how that is, but it's like you can't keep putting a band-aid on it and ripping it off, putting a band-aid, ripping it off. Now just fucking, rip the whole fucking thing off and let it air and let go get your vitamin D and let it heal. Let your body heal by itself because your body knows what to do. Speak to it. Tell yourself you love yourself. You genuinely can do that. I started by telling myself in front of the mirror years ago, I love myself. Hey, Vero, I love you. And it was really hard. So I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror, like in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like you're brushing your teeth, whatever. Well, I made it a point to, because I was really scared because when I was little, like I said, Freddy Krueger was in my dreams. He was in my bathtub in my dreams. The Bloody Mary was in my dreams. Like now I can look at myself in the mirror when it's dark. I'm not scared anymore. But they try these entities, like the one that was like beating you up and shit. They try and there it's called a mercenary. I wrote it down. So these mercenaries are paid top dollar to go and torture people. You know what I'm saying? So I saw the picture, but I don't know if the public can see it, but you can see
The dark ring. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So,
So it
I'm
looks
sorry,
like-
I'm ashy.
okay.
I'm wearing tall socks today. I'm wearing my pride socks. Show you my pride socks today.
I like
But,
your socks.
But
Look at, I got my coconut water,
hey,
no sugar, and then my son has a cup, so I found it.
also like I was gonna tell you, that spot. You see that it looks like a big
Cheers. Cheers. To that.
cheers.
Cheers, cheers, woo, cheers.
There's nothing we were asking.
Salud, peseta y amor.
No, but you put water in there? Oh, you don't. Oh, they're okay. No, I'm cool. So what I said when I took out that rock, you see how big it looks, but it wasn't that big of a rock. When it healed, the skin didn't heal like a scab. It was like black skin. It didn't heal like a scab. It was just a black skin. And I didn't leave it. Yeah. I didn't put alcohol in it, nothing. And the way that it healed, it looked like it burnt in that way. Like it burned, like it was burnt into my leg or something, or like kind of forced into my skin or something. I really don't know. But that's how it healed. And
It's
when I
like
took it out, it stayed like that.
I think the nano chip had black goo as well.
I don't know. I really don't know. I just know once I pulled it out, they did the magnet test on it and it was sending a signal, like a lo-fi signal pointing upwards, so it's like,
That's crazy, man. I know.
One thing I wanted to get into was the experiences you had as a soldier. Maybe some missions, remember creatures, like experiences you had. Do you have anything like that you could share?
I have some memories. When I was in Mars, I was in my smart black suit, and it was a team. I had a team, and we had gone to Mars to save the children. They were children, and there was females that were inside a how do you say, a bird cage, and it was a black bird cages, okay. And I heard water, and I told my team, I'm like, let's go this way. And it was in a cave, and there was water running, and I followed the water, and there was like, they even had different kinds of species in these cages. So of course we had to run in with the raptoids. They kind of like look like dinosaurs. And then of course there was the spider beings there. If you look at Lord of the Rings, that shit is the spiders with the red eyes and everything. We were able to save the people and the children, and some of the animals, unfortunately. We did have a few casualties, but we did pretty much kick their ass. We ended them. And then I don't know if this happened. I think this happened first, and then it was the Mars Wars, where we had to evacuate Mars because they did a nuclear thing. They sent a nuclear weapon. So pretty much it was wiped out. And I was it was during the time I had my own ship, and the only soldier that I was able to save to this day, and he has the same memory that I do. His name is Johnny Gomez Paz, and we've talked about this before. He was my twin flame then. And we were also together through the Edwardian and Victorian times. And he does remember us being dragons. He was a black dragon and I was a white dragon. It's so weird because before I ever met him, I haven't met him like here like in Tucson, but I've been with him in the wars. This tattoo that I made, that I had my friend make, I had no idea, but look at, he never finished it. It's I don't know if you can see it, but it's a black, it's kind of like upside down. There's a black dragon
Yeah.
and it's a shield. See the wings. And then the other one he never finished, and that was supposed to be white. So that was supposed to be him and me without me even knowing. So when I met him, he's like, Vero, I was the black dragon, and when I met you, you were the white dragon, and you helped me, and I changed because of you. So that was the dragon mode. But when we were in Mars, we had our smart suits and stuff, and
Vero, real quick.
yeah.
Can you describe Mars a little bit? Like, what did you see? Like, cause I mean, I've never been before, so can you let me like how does it look, and maybe the technology you guys use? Cause you whip some spiders and draconian ass.
Mhm.
What did you use for that? Did you punch it? I don't think you punched them. You know what happened?
Well, I know you said you were part of the Hulk program.
Yeah.
You were part of the,
Did you punch
Cruiser,
you were a couple of gripper programs, I think 6 or 7
Cruiser.
programs.
Solar Warden, Project Pegasus, Project Bluebeam, Montauk, all kinds of programs. But we had our smart suits. But because I was in the Kruger program, I also had a silver hand. So I had silver weaponry. My hands could turn silver. My hands, it's kind of like Terminator. But you know,
The liquid transferable
they're
metal.
good guys. And I can shoot weapons. I can make whatever weapon I want. If I want like a big gun, or if I want a sword, I can do that. Or I can just use the elements and use it that way. Kind of like X-Men. Oh gosh, I forgot to say something. But the way, and I'll tell you how I remember having this hand. I was a boy in Venus. And this is through a regression that I did with James Rink when we were talking back then. So I remember that it was in Venus, it was like a white tarp that they had for a medical. And I was a young boy then, and I saw these people like with lines from the top to their veins. And I was like, what are they doing? You know, later on, I did another one. I did another regression, and they were giving their life essence away, so that when the wars, okay, so you know there's going to be a war with the aliens, but first there's going to be World War III with China. That's what we're expecting. It could change. The people, you know, the players can change, but this is what I see and my friends see. So they were pretty much, they gave up their blood, their DNA, to save their children and their families back on Earth. And they had me in a chair. They were actually feeding me blood, and then they had just put a silver hand. And I was like, what? I was young too. It was, I
Was
was
the silver
like
hand
7
like?
years old, 8.
Is it like implanted in you, or is it a glove that goes on you? Like, what
No,
is the
this one
silver
was an
hand?
implant. This was not
Okay.
an actual real silver hand. But when we are in Mars, we can either use, you know, there's different timelines where I don't need the silver hand. I have regular hands, but they can come out with weapons. You can think it and it just comes out from your smart suit, but it's you. It's you that is whatever you imagine that you want will happen. You know what I mean? Like as far as a fight, like what kind of weapon you want, or if you want to use your psionic abilities. Mm, it's up to you. I mean, like the old Superman, you know, with the eyes, you have the red, you can do the red
Would you say
laser.
like transic force, kind of like the energy you produce from your own body, you
Yeah.
turn it into what? So that's what I when you say that, that's what I see coming out. And when you say like Silverhand, I think of like nanotechnology and
Yeah, that's the nanotechnology.
and like you, I remember we had the conversation. You told me of the services you've done and the programs you've done,
Hold
and
on,
that's why I'm like, oh, like
hold
I'm
on. I'm
putting it
getting something
together.
in my ear. Hold on. Go away. I return it to sender. I do not consent you scanning me. I do not consent you upgrading me. I do not consent you. No, go away. I hate it when they do that shit, man. And it's like, yeah, it happened the other day too while I was just fucking signals.
So they're trying to reprogram you to
Kind of
lower
like
their.
Syrian candidate, and they're listening to you, they're scanning you, your frequency. They want to make sure where you are is where I am on their computer. I am, or are there drones? There's drones up here. I mean, I even talked to this young girl. She was like, she had just graduated from the University of Arizona, and we were in line to get something. It was a vegan night because twice a month here is vegan night. And I went with, you know, my kids and stuff. And there was a young girl in front of me, and she all of a sudden started saying that she graduated and she was in uh, molecular biology, and she was saying, my dad's in the Navy, but I can't talk about it. And I go, oh, so you know he's told you about the drones that are shielded, right? That are cloaked. She goes, yeah, but I can't talk about it. And I can't talk about what they do. And I'm like, I know what they do. They can see everybody where they are anytime, any place. They know what you're doing. The eye in the sky, brother in the sky bullshit, that's fucking military. That's DOD, Vanguard, you name it. So it's like,
Well, you know about like the Excalibur satellite that's in space, and
yeah,
then I think you told me about the moon station that sends it's like the superhighway to the universe.
yeah.
And we've talked about that before. I think we talked about it on the last podcast.
The
I'm
dark
not
side
really
of the
sure.
moon. Yeah.
And I I I think it's like I was just talking to my brother, like
I'm over here like,
like I'm telling him now that my mind is clearing, I have these memories, but I can't piece them all together.
You will.
And
You will. Because when I met
and
you, I'm like, he's one of us. I know he's a super soldier. And I told you. And you know, I also told Diana, but I don't want to say her name. She goes to the gym too. And I told her, and she has the Wonder Woman thing here. And I told her, you're one of us. She goes, what?
I think it's crazy that most fitness enthusiasts
Mhm.
they do have a superhero character that they do bond with. And it could be that, because like I said, I honestly like I was telling my brother, I think I intoxicated myself and made myself numb because I didn't want to remember these things.
Yeah, me too. I went through alcohol addiction, and I was smoking cigarettes all the time after my divorce. I smoked for like 6 years, on and off. And then finally, when I had my neck surgery, where they had to take out the 4 vertebrae from here, and then they took 6 vertebrae from down there and gave me titanium, and oh my gosh, I said no more smoking. It was cold turkey too. It's like I know, and that's what they want. And also the one that I talked about the other day, and they made fun of me, was pornography and masturbation, because you cannot be giving away your energy that in your spine away like that. If you are gonna be with your partner, that it has to be love, and right before you know, have an orgasm, try and have an orgasm together at the same time, but mention what you want to create. That's like the easiest way to manifest. Or if you're by yourself, but you can't be giving away your oil, the oil that's in the back of our spine. That's our magic, that's our gold, that's our mnemonic. What do they call that? Mnemonic gold. What is that? Yeah, monatomic gold. Yeah. So that's the thing that I see that is the worst addiction, other than smoking, drinking, is sex, pornography, masturbation. I'm not saying to not do it. It has to be a balance, and you have to know what you're doing with
it's
your energy.
I mean, when like my only studies about that is like, you lose estrogen, you lose testosterone because you're just constantly doing it, and your mental state is not able to replace the dopamine that you produce naturally. And when you're oversaturated through pornography, like you said, you won't be able to manifest anything throughout that, because I remember you sent me a video about that, because when I was married, you said, it was when you make love and you're gonna orgasm, both of you guys should manifest what you guys want. And that is something that we did try, and it did work, and we were just it just it's something that you need to understand, that that addiction can take away not just your physical energy but your mental energy and your spiritual, because then you become more I want to say dumbfounded, because you're producing something that you should produce naturally to keep the race continuing. But if you're doing it just because of the pleasure, because you need the dopamine, um, it's a waste of it. It's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of everything.
It becomes an addiction, and it's like you want that fix all the time. So it's, I've had to go celibate because the guys that I've dated here, they're
Trash.
addicted to porn. They're addicted to, something, drinking all the time. I'm like, they they want to know everything about me. They want to ask me, they ask me questions. Most of the guys are military and police, because I don't really like dating anything else other than, but then they make fun of you. Then they're like, oh, ha, ha. And then, you know what I'm saying? Then they stalk you, or they make fun of you in front of people. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I named it the CIA Love Bite, because they are sent to us to find out what we know, to see how, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we can tell the future with our visions and our dreams. So they want to know what we know, but then they want to make fun of you. So it's kind of like gaslighting you. And they'll ignore you. They want you to go be at your lowest frequency, so that way you don't finish your mission and you're sidetracked.
The low frequency. Remember you said
Yeah.
we had a higher frequency.
Everybody has different frequencies, and we have to take care of our aura, because like I said, 80% of our body is our aura. Doctors won't tell you.
Like you said, the addiction to pornography, that causes low frequency. So then you wonder why you're not getting that instant gratification, why you're not satisfied anymore, why people have to go into deeper, darker stuff, because what you're seeing is a fantasy. It's not real. It doesn't really exist. Like, and then people try to do that with their partners, and their partners are like, what's going on? Like, I'm not used to seeing that. Or they do the whole simulation role play and all this other crazy stuff, and you're just like, not saying that there are people that are willing to do that, but that normally doesn't exist in normal standards of how people function in the real world, you know.
In Secret Space Program, though, a lot of that stuff happened, a lot of rape, they had me on a wheel. Another girl remembers being on a wheel. A lot of sex rituals, unfortunately, orgies, horrible. That's what pretty much the negative side, the bad side of the Illuminati and Masonry, they do that. That's why with the movie, with the Tom Cruise, Eyes Wide Shut, with he was married to her, Nicole, what is her name?
Kidman.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman. They have the rituals with their masks and everything, and they have orgies because they actually, when people do have sex, they can get memories from others, and their DNA is mixed with their DNA. So it's like, how long do you have to detox to get someone's DNA off of you? But then people are fucking around every weekend, maybe 3-4 partners every week. Where does that leave you? It leaves you exhausted. It leaves you sad. It leaves you wanting more. It leaves you like, addicted. And then those parasites or demons jump onto your DNA. So it's like, what the fuck are you gonna do now? I don't know if you guys ever have had, you don't have to answer, but sometimes, people have sex with someone and they're like so sad the next day. They're like so depressed. Like, what happened? Go ahead.
No, that's true. Like I said, This is the first time I've been sober where like I've actually been celibate as well. But before, like when I was drinking, I had multiple partners,
Yeah.
and I was never sad. Like you're right, was never satisfied. I was always sad. Cheating wasn't anything to me because I didn't think I needed love and all this stuff until I realized that, like that's not how it works. Like
Right.
that's not how it is. Like I'm not happy, but I'm not how do I say, dang, like I'm not happy, but I know I'm trying to fill in a hole, but I'm not filling anything up. What I'm doing is, like you said, putting a band-aid on it and not really handling, not letting the wound heal.
Mhm.
So I mean, like I said, if for whatever reasons it was, like I'm trying to block my mental remembrance of stuff that happened to me,
Yeah.
past lives, this life, whatever it is. Now I know that like it's me remembering certain traumatic stuff that happened. Like I said, like if it was a past life, this life, whatever it is, I'm realizing now that it has to come out to fruition for me in order to be fine with myself.
Right.
You have to be true to yourself as well. So like that's why I don't mind answering your questions. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
because if I
because
can't be honest, then it's like,
true.
what's the point about what am I doing here?
Yeah, it happened to me too. And it's like, the movies don't help either. It's like, when am I gonna find my love? When am I, girl chasing girl, boy chasing girl, at the end of the movie, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like chasing them to the airport. Oh yeah, it was you. And it's just they tug at, like they say, heartstrings, and they're always wanting for the people to feel like they need someone to fulfill them in order for them to be alive, in order for them to have a purpose. You are the purpose, you are creator. You're the shit. You don't really need anyone to, but if you choose to, and the partner, the person is like, hey, the same as you, awakened, and you're gonna use the sex magic for good, and you know what I'm saying? It's really hard to find people that are awakened in our level of our thoughts, So, but our mission, remember, our mission is what? Our kids, well, first us, and if we have kids, then our kids, and then to help save Mother Earth, right? The children, the wars. If we are this, we were called to do this, then there's a reason for us to keep on taking care of our temple, because we only get one right now. And yeah, people want the med beds, but they don't want to go work out or go outside for a walk or play basketball like Ricardo said. They want the med beds, so they're gonna eat and eat and eat and get fat, and then, oh, the med beds. No, I don't think that works that way, super soldier. But anyway, going back to Venus. Okay, well, I'll go back to Mars. So I was able to save him. I took him to safe landing. But then when I took off on my ship, they blew my ship up. And my friend Consuelo, I don't know if she is watching the show, Consuela from the UK, Canada, sorry. She remembers that she lifted me up, in her crew, in her ship, and then I didn't want to be lifted up. My legs were blown off, one of my arms, half my face was blown off, and I said, just leave me here. Just leave me here. And I do have a memory where I'm looking at these beautiful white crystal flowers, and I'm like, this is so beautiful. And she told me, and I'm like, how did you know? Right? Crazy. And then, of course, that led over to the surgeries that I've had here. I've had 28 surgeries since I was 18 years old. And that's not including the dental stuff that they did. So then going back to, so then, yeah, then she takes me to my star family. They heal me and I'm okay. The one from Venus. Okay, so I'm a little boy. And then when they're done with the procedure, I had on a white suit, a white suit back then with the gear. And one of the guys tells me, just be careful. And I'm like, why? He goes, you'll see. And then I'm walking through, like, there's a bunch of rocks and a stream of water. And in Venus, it's a desert place as well where I am, because Mars looks like Phoenix and Greenland, if you really want to know. And I have that coin that I showed you guys the other day that was given to me. And in the backside, it has a Mars complex and shit. So anyway, in Venus, I go outside and there's this man that he looks like his arms, they look like rocks. Like if and then he turns into a dinosaur and he says, you better get home because I'm gonna hunt you down. As soon as the sun goes down, we're hunting you. So me and I see a bunch of kids like me running through because we were hunted. We were hunted in these programs, and then they gave us a pet. They gave me a reptilian, one of those iguana things. I have this kind of weird in my crib because you had to assimilate with them. Okay, but then they would make you kill them off. And I had run-ins with wolves too, and they had us kill our own pets because they were assholes. It's so weird because in 2017 I had a dream that there was a white wolf in front of me and little wolves and coyotitos behind her. She was white with the little gray on top, and she said mother to me as I woke up. And years later, I get Lola with her puppies, and now she's my German Shepherd and she's my protector. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm running with the kids in Venus, and then finally we get to this place where there's a like a gate where it's like an electrical gate, like it's some kind of technology where only you can get in and the others can't. So I was able to go down under to there's caves down there, and then they have the doors that open and close to a underground facility. The guy that helped me get away, I saw his name said Sergeant Lee, and he was an Asian dude, and he helped me to get away on a kind of like those things that you use on the train. I don't know what you call those things. But
Like a freight train or?
yeah, kind of no, kind of like
A
those
shipping
things that go-
container?
Mande?
A shipping container?
It's an old school like it's like a seesaw, but it was like running.
Oh,
Yeah, like that.
yeah.
Okay.
So he told me don't come out, and then thank goodness the other kids and I made it safe. I have had run-ins with the blue werewolves. I do have the lichen DNA and the vampire, which is the dragon DNA, the mermaid and the lion DNA. This one was I talked about it the other day already, but it was the wolfmen, and they're blue and they come from Pluto. So I have been in Pluto, Mars, Moon, Uranus, the moon, Saturn, Jupiter. And it was confirmed by Peter the Insider, ACIO. You can look up ACIO, Peter the Insider. He was helping people to how do you say, confirm their kill shots and things like that. I've been in Antarctica, I've been under Antarctica, I remote viewed the super soldiers that are sleeping right there right now, the new ones that they're making for this war. I have remote viewed under China where the children are being, drawn, their blood is being taken. Even here in the United States, some family members will use their children's blood to inject in them so that they can be, younger. Actors do that. We know that. Like I told everybody when I didn't even know that Kobe Bryant had died. That next day I had a dream that it was that the daughter was going to be sacrificed, but in a weird, different kind of way. It was numbers that I saw, and I was on a trip chair. I was getting a tattoo done, and in the wall it was red, it was dark, and I saw broken hearts, 1, 3, 3, 6, 5, 2, 3, different numbers. I have been a coach for an alien race that I feel that I know I'm from Andromeda. And I do have a memory that I have all these men, they're melanin and dominant, they're like 7 feet and tall and taller. They all have their black curly hair. They're in white and red lined basketball uniforms. And I'm their coach. And that right when I wake up, I'm sent to talk to the owner. But they're all surrounding me in a circle, and they say, "We got your back." That was a dream in 2018, but just recently, 3 days ago or so, I had the dream where they came to see me, and we were all together going to go to set. We were going to war. So they were medically checking us. We were at sports medicine co-ed place, and it's just to see them again. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I know one of them, but he doesn't know. Like, I told him about it, but he's still like, oh wow.
He's not awakened.
Right. He's kind of awakened. And I just love how when you dream of something or you're in the astral and then you meet him here, like you, Hulk, and you, mijo, now, Ricardo, you're a shaman, Ricardo, for sure. You're a healer. Pero como te dije, Hulk, when I saw you, I'm like, I know you're one of us. So I'm pretty much a DNA, how do you say, activator. You'll have memories or you'll have more dreams coming up, or people will come to you and you'll help them through their life for healing, Ricardo, or something's good is about to happen for you guys. And not hasn't, but
I agree, because I always felt like I never was attracted to any of the materialistic stuff that's here.
Mhm.
And I feel like maybe in the past I already had this, been there, done that. Like it feels like been there, done that for me. And I've always have a out of the box perspective on no matter who I speak to. And one of the things that's sad in me isn't what my life is when I give people advice and they don't follow it, and then they get worse in situation. And it's like everyone learns their own way. Everyone's on their own journey. They're gonna learn their own way. And what you're saying, I kind of feel it. And then you saying that, it's like, oh, well, then that's kind of what I always thought. I've always thought about myself too, just watching people like, I'm here to like guide you. But again, I can lead you to the water. I can't make you drink. That's just life in general.
Well, I think it's funny because like you say we look like twins, and we've heard that our whole lives. You guys, you could be twins and this and that, and we've had secret knocks to the wall to communicate. We had you thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah, okay, let's do that. And I've always said like, look, dude, I'm the workforce, like I'm the muscle, I'm the physical, and you're the mental. So
so you're the one that your own negative, right? Or negative?
yeah,
Okay. So
we're
you
negative.
so we're the ones that come and get the shit done, and he's there to be your cleanup crew and help you, like pretty much, go and take them to jail, or go and take them to, whatever, or heal them and then take them to jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it's
Interesting.
because I mean, even like I said, like he said, we do music. We're the dangerous duo. I have a verse. We're the twin towers. You know what I'm saying? Like we're the powerful. Like I have a verse that says that. Like you can't knock us down. We're together. You know what I mean? It's the power group that we are, and it's been a dynamic that we've had forever. And like you said earlier too, that we're meant to like change the prospect of how people think and heal other people. Well, that was what I was telling him earlier. I was like, dude, we're talking about all this change, but we need to be the change. We need to be the example. Like I need to be there for you. Like he said, like, dude, I always felt like you were never there for me as an older brother. And I was like, because I wasn't. I was basically blanking myself out because I had something that I didn't want to remember. I don't, or whatever traumatic experiences that I had that I try to block out. So I wasn't there for you. I wasn't, but now that I'm clear-minded, I'm like, look, I got your back, bro. Like whatever you need, I'm here. And it's the same way. It's been vice versa.
That's so cool. Like my middle sister and I, they always called us twins. And yeah, gosh, but unfortunately, she's still stuck in the church. And a lot of people get stuck with religion here, and then they have to come back and, do it all over and finally have their Kundalini awakening and help Mother Earth or whatever other planet they're going to be on, There's always wars. There's been wars for eons, wars in space, wars here. So all these wars that we've had here supposedly are to help us to get prepared for the alien invasion.
I think you have to go through these experiences to grow, because pain is a powerful motivator. It will make you uncomfortable and it's going to push you to move. But that's what you need to go through in order to grow and become who you want to be. Examples of this would be like, for example, Oprah. And I mean that because Oprah got fired when she was like 19 years old from whatever job she had. But she had to go through these experiences in order to become who she is now. That's just one of the many experiences you could add anybody. Bill Gates, you can add Jeff Bezos. Like I'm sure I was saying in a previous podcast, sacrifice is the currency for success. Sacrifice is the how you pay for success. And in order to become who you are gonna be, you have to sacrifice who you were. to get to that point. And that's just life, you know?
Yeah, and then again, I can go to Oprah Winfrey. She's the one that traffics children in Hawaii, and I can go into all that, but I won't.
Okay,
Oh,
bad
I
example.
was gonna say
Yeah,
that.
bad
I was like-
example. Never mind.
I was like, you know, she's a part of like
Sorry.
the whole. But I mean, I know he was trying to use like for successful business
Right.
kind of thing. You know?
But remember, the word success, according to Santos Bonacci, is sucking seed. Do you want to suck seed to get up to climb the ladder? I could go on.
That'll have to be for the next podcast.
Yeah, we gotta go. But
Yeah.
it's 7 o'clock here, and we've been on what, 2 hours? That's
Yeah.
it doesn't even seem like 2 hours. We can do another show. Gosh, yeah, we have a lot more to talk
I
about.
mean, every time I have a conversation with you, it's always like this.
And make sure
Um,
you guys get something. This Shungite to me called out to me years ago, and this is I wear it every day, every night. You need to get either an ojo de venado or something, you know, some kind of, what do you
so
got?
this is a Spartan helmet.
Yes, your spot. Oh my gosh, you have to watch Halo. What do you have, Ricardo?
Just the black crystal.
Oh,
Like
is
I
it?
said, I'm the workhorse. I'm the soldier. I'm the guy who.
Look at that.
And
You
he's
and you
yeah,
guys
so-
need each other. Acuérdate. Ricardo, is that
So,
tourmaline?
What'd you say? What happened?
Is that tourmaline that you got? The black one?
Yeah.
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 That's really powerful too.
So mine is copper. This is made out of copper.
Dude, Spartan. Spartan.
It says in the back, civilize the mind and make savage the body. And I feel like I'm doing that, and I've had this for years.
Wow.
I wasn't wearing it for a while because I didn't feel like I deserved to wear it, but now that I'm coming back into my own, I'm wearing it, and I wear it proudly because like I said, I feel like I'm a warrior, like I'm a soldier, like I said, I feel strong, and I always feel like I find peace in the chaos.
Hell yeah. We need you guys. Well, can you let everybody know, because I'm gonna upload this video soon here, how to get a hold of you guys, and send me all your information on text. And then first what I usually do is I upload the video and then I put all the information.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm on TikTok, Papi Shamu. You can find me, Instagram, Facebook, Jose Ramirez or El Shamu, Snapchat Shamu Smile. You can email me ramirezj676@yahoo.com. Whatever questions, if it's fitness, motivational, whatever it is, dietary, I answer all the questions to the best of my abilities. If I can't answer, I will do the research and get back to you with best knowledge that I can. Right now, most of my socials are just fitness, motivational contacts, stuff like that. I do post some funny stuff here and there, obviously, you know. So I mean, other than that, that's pretty much it. But you can get a hold of me through those social sites.
And for me, I'm also on YouTube. You can look up recreational, like Ricardo, RIC. So it's recreational, like you're having fun, but it's RIC, recreational. So there's that. And then we can reach me is on Instagram. It's gonna be the letter U _better _recognize. Like when you recognize, because I'm Ricardo, it's Rick. So recognize. So you better recognize and recreational. What'd you say?
She said, recognize.
You better recognize.
Recognize.
You better recognize, girl.
Oh, also, I always forget to plug this. We have a podcast on Spotify.
Spotify.
On Spotify. Let me slow down my mind because I'm overthinking it. But so we have a podcast. Yeah.
It's time to go. It's time to go.
As I have a podcast on Spotify. It's called Talk to Me or whatever. It has the Hulk picture on there. We're gonna be on Apple podcast soon. I'm setting that up.
And YouTube video as
And
well.
YouTube as
Working
well.
on video soon.
We're working on video content as well. So you'll find it when I get the YouTube video. I'll give you the name and everything
Thank
for
you.
it because I have to change the whole concept of my YouTube.
Yeah, and then Ricardo sent, if you guys can send me all that you just said, that way I can post it on the video because I couldn't find you right here yet.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Okay, well, love you guys.
Love you too.
love
Take
it.
care.
Bye.